We live in a world that tells us the answer to stress is always more and more success, more money, more control. But what if true inner peace didn't come from adding more, but from learning how to let go? I'll never forget the day my boss criticized me in front of everyone. It stung. I carried that anger and shame for days, replaying it again and again in my head. Only later did I realize the truth. It wasn't just about the criticism, it was about my deep need to be accepted. Until I faced that, I couldn't release it. And that's the problem most of us face. We don't process our emotions, we ignore them. And instead of lasting minutes, they weigh us down for weeks. In this video, I'll show you why letting go is the real path to peace, what philosophy, therapy, and neuroscience teach us about it, and how you can begin today. Asterisk that moment. With my boss could have ended in 20 minutes. The sting of the words, the embarrassment in front of others, it was real, yes, but it could have been temporary. Instead, it lasted for days. And I've seen this same pattern in so many people. Something happens, we feel hurt, but instead of facing it, we push it away. We try to stay busy, ignore it, pretend it doesn't matter. And what was meant to be a passing storm turns into a heavy cloud that follows us everywhere. The truth is, peace isn't found by running away from discomfort. It's found by pausing long enough to notice it, to name it, and to understand what lies beneath. In my case, the real wound wasn't the criticism, it was my need to be accepted, my fear of rejection. Until I recognized that, the emotion had power over me. This is where philosophy can guide us. The Stoics, like Epictetus, taught that we are not disturbed by events themselves, but by the judgments we place on them. The words of my boss were just words. The story I told myself, I am not good enough. I am not respected, that was what created the suffering. Buddhist teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh describe emotions as visitors. Anger, sadness, shame, they come to the door of our mind. If we ignore them, they don't go away, they grow louder. But if we open the door, greet them, and sit with them for a moment, they eventually leave on their own. This is the art of letting go, not pushing away emotions, but embracing them long enough to release their hold. So many of us live in a constant cycle of reaction. We get triggered, we feel pain, and we carry it without ever asking, why did this moment hurt me so much? What deeper need is being touched? Without that reflection, peace is impossible. Because peace is not the absence of challenges, it's the ability to meet them without being consumed. When we understand this, we realize that inner peace doesn't start when life gets easy. It starts when we develop the courage to look inside, to face the emotions we fear, and then, finally, to let them go. Asterisk philosophy points the way, but science confirms it. Modern psychology has shown that ignoring our emotions doesn't make them disappear, it makes them stronger. The more we push feelings away, the more they return in unexpected ways, creating stress, anxiety, and even physical tension. Therapists often say that what we resist persists. In cognitive behavioral therapy, the focus is on uncovering the deeper beliefs behind our reactions. Maybe you're not just upset about being criticized, you're upset because it touches a hidden need for approval or a fear of rejection. When those beliefs stay unconscious, emotions have power over us. But when we bring them into awareness, we can choose how to respond instead of being controlled. Neuroscience supports this too. Brain imaging studies show that when people label their emotions, simply naming what they feel, like anger, shame, or fear, activity in the amygdala, the brain's alarm system decreases. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain linked to clarity, and at the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the cortex, the part of the brain linked to clarity, and even decision-making becomes more active. In other words, just pausing to identify your emotion gives you more control and calm. Other research and acceptance-based therapies shows that allowing emotions, rather than fighting them, reduces their intensity. Think of it like holding a beach ball underwater. The harder you push it down, the stronger it bursts back up. But if you let it float, it loses its power. The same is true with feelings. When we acknowledge them, we can finally release them. And this is where peace begins. Inner peace doesn't come from a perfect life without conflict or criticism. It comes from the ability to notice, accept, and let go of what arises inside us. This process may sound simple, but it transforms how we live. Moments that could ruin our weeks shrink back into minutes. Stress that once lingered turns into clarity. Science and therapy echo what philosophers and spiritual teachers have been saying for centuries. Peace is not found by controlling the world outside of us, but by learning to manage the world within us. So how do you actually practice this in your daily life? The path to peace isn't about controlling everything outside of you, it's about working with what's inside. And that begins with a simple process: stop, name, and let go. Here's how it works. The next time you feel a wave of stress, anger, or sadness rising inside you, pause. Literally stop for a moment, take one deep breath. This is the first step, creating space between you and the reaction. Second, name what you're feeling. Say it out loud or write it down. Maybe it's frustration, maybe it's fear, maybe it's shame. Just by giving it a name, you've already started to loosen its grip. Neuroscience shows that labeling emotions reduces activity in the brain's alarm system and gives your mind clarity. Third, instead of pushing the feeling away, allow it. Sit with it for a moment, even if it's uncomfortable. Acknowledge that it's there, and remember, it's only a visitor. Like a storm passing through, it doesn't define you and it won't last forever. When you give yourself permission to feel it, you also give yourself permission to release it. This practice doesn't take hours, it can take less than a minute. Imagine if every time your boss, your partner, or the chaos of the world triggered you, instead of carrying it for days, you could process it and let it go in minutes. That is the power of self-awareness. Think about it. What would your life feel like if you no longer carried yesterday's storms into today? How much lighter, calmer, and freer would you be if you had the ability to let go? This is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It's about facing emotions honestly, so they lose their power over you. Peace doesn't come when the world finally gets quiet, it comes when you do. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you feel triggered, don't run from it. Stop, name it, sit with it, and then let it go. Try it once today. And then share your experience in the comments below. Tell us what you noticed, what shifted for you, or even what was difficult. Because your story might inspire someone else to take their first step. And if this message spoke to you, make sure to subscribe to Echoes of Light. Every day we explore the wisdom of philosophy, the clarity of science, and the power of practice to help you live calmer, happier, and lighter. Because inner peace isn't found in the noise of more, it's discovered in the quiet courage of letting go.